Hello, everybody. Off to the post office. Got a couple, so I have 3 different things I'm mailing out today. I am shipping the Round Robin craft box off to the next person in line. I don't know if I like being at the beginning or at the end better. I mean, this go around, the last 2 that I've done, I've kind of been toward the end of the line. And you kind of, I think, instinctually get a FOMO feeling. And it's almost like, oh, here I am with all the stuff that nobody else wanted, but making that assumption based on not knowing what was in there to begin with. I mean, by the time the box gets to you, there could be potentially nothing in there that was in there when the box left the original sender. You would never know that. But being the first person that it gets to, it's like, because there's the potential that, if you're getting the box from somebody, for example, that is just super frilly, you're likely to get a bunch of like lace and flowery stuff and pinks and purples and pastels and pretty frilly girly stuff. And if that's not your aesthetic, you might not be able to find anything in the box or find much in the box that really fits your style, which then doesn't leave much room in the box for you to add from your own stash. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It seems like, I don't know. I was able to find some stuff, fortunately. The originator of the box seems like she's got a pretty eclectic style. So there was a little bit of this and a little bit of that in the box. But at the same time, I feel like if I wasn't picking for myself and for my daughter, which I had permission to do, I let the entire group know ahead of time, that my daughter lives an hour away and she is my crafting buddy. And I was given permission to pick for her as well. But I feel like being the first in the line, had I not had that option and I was only picking for myself, there wouldn't have been much room in the box for me to add from my own stash. So I don't know. I mean, if I had to pick at the beginning or at the end, I would say I would rather be at the end because there's more likely to be a variety of stuff in the box. But with this kind of thing, beggars can't be choosers. So you get where you get, and you fall in line wherever where you happen to land. But I will continue to participate in the Round Robin boxes because I love them. I love the surprise of it all. That's why I like doing the the mystery mail boxes that I haven't been doing lately because the last couple months been pretty short on money, and B, they haven't had the Temu only box, which is what I was really digging, and seemed to be the one that most of my viewers enjoyed the most was the Temu only boxes. Well, they haven't had those in 2 months now, and they raised their prices on their boxes. So I'm kind of like trying to decide whether or not it's worth continuing to do those. I mean, I have a decent stash of stuff to put in, to put in an online store. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to justify continuing to spend money when I'm not making any money back in return as a result. I'm already kind of feeling that way about my Etsy shop. I mean, granted, I don't have a lot in there yet, and I mean, that's twofold as well. I don't want to spend a bunch of time doing die cuts in 3 different varieties, taking all the pictures, getting them uploaded into Etsy. You have to pay for the listing whether you sell them or not, and it's not a one-time thing. It's a recurring fee that you have to pay to have a listing up on Etsy. And so I'm having to pay for the listings that I have up there, and so far I haven't sold any yet, so I'm not seeing any return. So I'm like, do I keep adding to it and keep incurring more and more costs and hope that eventually it takes off and I start making some money off of it, at least breaking even? I mean, it would be nice to make money, but if I can at least break even and have my fees covered each month, that would be awesome. But it's like, I don't know, I'm struggling with that. So I get it. So on 2 different fronts, it's hard to justify spending money when you're not making money and you're not seeing returns on the money you are spending, and the whole gamut. And it's like, I'm on a limited income, being on disability, so it's like, do I keep spending money on other things that are not showing a return? So I've got some soul searching to do there. If you're watching this video, if you don't mind leaving your comments below, let me know what you think. I mean, is it worth it for you guys to see those videos? I am sending out a box of fabric to another junk journaler. I put a post up in one of my junk journal groups. I'm not incurring the cost on those. It's whatever fabric I can stuff in a box for the cost of shipping. So a medium flat rate box, $18.40. It's probably 6 pounds of fabric that I stuffed in there. And I've got four more medium flat rate boxes that I can fill with fabric, and that'll help me de-stash too, because I have a lot of fabric. So that's going out, and then I also am sending out a box of square diamond dots. They're all my extras from past projects completed, and I've got a ton left over. They're just kind of storing, and I don't like using them in my junk journaling. I like using the round ones. I don't like using the square ones. So I am sending them to the administrator of a Facebook group called Got Diamonds, and that's what they do. It's a connection group. So when people order kits and they're short on drills, or their cat knocked it over and they're short, whatever, they can go into this group and say, hey, does anybody have about 300 round 310s? And it's just a connection. It's no cost. You're not allowed to charge people for them. You're not even allowed to charge shipping for them. If you're volunteering to pay shipping. But I got it's like, it was a lot, and I have a lot. So I contacted the admin, and she's just going to take all of them and distribute them accordingly. But yeah, so I'm heading to the post office. Head to the post office to send those out, but I am making a pit stop. So with that, I'm gonna turn you off for now, and I will be back in 2 and 2. All right. I'm back. So not my my place to be, but to figure something out. So I am currently at one of our legalized weed shops, and he's like, "What can I help you with?" I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I am a total noob." But I let him know that I was not looking for a let's get loaded. I don't want, I don't want to be flying high all the time. Looking for mainly, something for nerve pain management, and with that, hopefully, if I can get the pain at night under control, then hopefully that means I can then sleep a little better. I'm working on trying to get it plugged in so I can get it charging. It's not plugged into to charge. Open this box back up. So just picked up a little CBD cartridge. But I don't know what this end is supposed to plug into. Well, I was going to charge it in the truck while I was driving, but it looks like it's got to plug into a USB. Yep. I'll have to charge that baby at home, and then we'll go from there. Get these put into my purse. It is windy as all hell, as you can see from the trees right in front of us. It's crazy. People are trying to climb in and out of their vehicles and, practically losing their doors. Crazy. So now we're going to head off to post office. So now that I know what I have, or what I need, to see whether the CBD cartridge product is available on their online ordering. because then I can just order it online and go through the pickup window. I don't have to go inside because, to be honest with y'all, I don't like the smell of weed. I'm like trying to think, was this the best way to go to get back to the post office? This location, really, it's like there's no way about it, actually. I either have to go back this way to get onto the freeway. If I'd have gone to the right, I would have head down Bombing Range Road all the way through town and through West Richland, and all and eventually ended up on a little snippet of the highway to get into Benton City. But yeah, from that location, there's really no straight shot to get out to Benton City to get to the post office. I can't believe how windy it is. This will help you sleep, but you'll go to sleep with a little bit of a buzz. And I'm like, I'm not looking to get high. Okay, I was like, maybe we'll go look at some edibles. And I was like, I'm a little more hesitant to do it with edibles just because of all my food issues. If they did samples, like Costco, I would take a sample just, because those products are expensive. And I would not be super happy to spend that kind of money on some edibles, only to just get home and take one and discover that I have a reaction to it. So I'm like, I'm probably best to avoid the edibles situation. He's like, cause I'm pretty, hit and miss with the edibles myself. And I was like, I told the story. I said my daughter-in-law has an account here. I said, she comes over here when they're in town. I go, she was here a couple of years ago, and she had bought some chocolates. And I go, and it sure came in handy because I actually fell that day and was hurt pretty bad. And in fact, I didn't even eat a full one. I only took a half of one because I was like, I don't know how it's going to affect me, so I took a half of one. And she said I was pretty out of it. She goes, you were practically drooling on the couch, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm that way when I fall asleep anyway. Once I finally get to sleep, I'm like very, very difficult to stir. And honestly, I think that's mostly because I hardly ever sleep. So when my body does finally crash, it's like, yeah, you're not waking me up. But I think I'd I don't know how much of it was which and which was what. She was going to leave some with me so I could try them again. And I don't know if she forgot or changed her mind or, what, but she didn't leave any behind. And I know those ones had THC in them. I do know that. But I said, I'm not looking to, spend my life high on, that's not the way I want to be. I just want to not be hurting all the time. I can't believe how windy it is. Blowing me all over the place. My husband just texted me, are you going to be able to drive in the wind? Okay. I'm already in it. The wind is going to affect whether or not I can turn my head, so I don't know what he's thinking there. But what he's inquiring about, I'm not dealing with until tomorrow. The wife of his friend that he was just traveling with sent some packages with her husband to drop off on their trip. She didn't realize that it was in the opposite direction of what they were traveling. So the boxes came back with them. Well, I live between them and the recipient of the packages. I'm kind of midway between them. So they were left with me with the instructions to please contact the person and make arrangements to meet and get the boxes to them. So when I finally got a hold of her this morning, she's like, oh, well, we're coming to the tray tomorrow. You want to just meet up somewhere? I'm like, sure. So we're going to meet at the Park and Ride, which is right up here. Which is what I was going to suggest anyway, was meeting at the Park and Ride. But, because she lives in Prosser, which you stay on this highway and go like 30 miles up the highway. That's Prosser. So yeah, she's going to meet me down here at the Conoco down here at the Park and Ride. And get her 2 boxes from me. always want to make me go to the right. But I'm like, that's the turn lane, not the straight lane. Oh, it's 1:30 in the afternoon. I think the fact that I haven't had any caffeine yet today is finally kicking in. My head is starting to hurt. Probably doesn't help sinus wise, being out here in the wind either. But if a little coffee shop up here is open, I will be stopping there after the post office, getting myself some coffee. Yay, she's open. I imagine that's one of the greatest joys about being self-employed is that, you can work when you want or not work when you don't want to. If you're not feeling up to it that day, you just don't go to work. I imagine she can come in and at least put a sign up that, closed today or whatever, but I don't know. Alright, we're here at the post office. Let me go get these mailed off and we will be back. are back in business. Let's go get some coffee and head for home. Oh, no problem.
What can I do for you?
I've never noticed your accent before.
Huh?
I said I never noticed you had an accent before.
I didn't even know I had one.
I'm like,
Everybody's always like, you're not from here, are you? And I was like, no. And they're like, where are you from? And I'm like, California, nothing too crazy.
that's funny. Yeah, but the same happens to me. I'm a California native,
Yeah.
but I've been in Washington since 2000, and I go to California and they're like, "Where's that accent from?" And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah. That's funny.
How long you been up here?
I don't even know. I think like 6 years, 10 years, something like that. But I've gone, like all summer long, I was in California, and then I'd come back for the year and go back.
Yeah, family's the only thing that would ever take me back to California. And
Yeah, no, same here.
And
I
even
will never
then,
move
it's going to
there.
have to be something very special because I will never move back.
Yeah, no.
I was forced to move back. I moved away when I turned 18. I was forced to move back because the military took us there. As soon as my husband got out, we're like,
We're like, never again.
out of California. Get the hell out of here.
Seriously.
I'm like, nope. I go back for funerals and weddings if I can afford to.
Yeah, I go see my dad and my
But-
family and stuff, but other than that, no, I will never move back there.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's not my scenery, that's for sure.
nope.
Too expensive and chaotic over there.
When you're paying $6 for a loaf of bread, there's a problem.
And like basically $10 for a jug of milk, like
Yep.
yeah, no.
It's like, nope.
I don't
Nope.
live in Hawaii, there's no reason for this to be this expensive.
Don't live in a tourist trap.
Seriously.
So what flavors do you have for a big train?
Big train, I have mocha, caramel, vanilla, white chocolate, spiced chai, cookies and cream horchata, or cotton candy. Cotton candy I would not recommend doing coffee though.
Let's just do caramel.
Caramel? What size?
A big one.
32? Perfect.
I haven't had any caffeine yet. I'm like, no wonder my head is hurting.
Oh, I totally understand that. It's gonna be 9-10 today.
That's an easy question for me because I cannot stand energy drinks.
Really? I didn't even notice he changed it.
It says, would you rather never drink coffee again or never drink energy drinks again?
See, that's a tough one for me because it depends on my mood or the weather. If it's nice and warm out, I can't drink milk, so I like drink energy drinks. If it's cold out, I want iced coffee.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You have a fantastic day.
You as well.
Thank you.
Don't blow away.
I'll try.
And she's about as big as a broom handle. Blow away in this mess. That tastes really, really good. Dribbling off in front of me. I had some dribbling out the top. Didn't realize it. All of a sudden I felt something cold on my leg. And my hands are all sticky. Hoping that helps with the pins and needles. So that's a lot of what keeps me up at night. I mean, I have insomnia anyway, and right now, like for at least for the last year, my insomnia has been hormonally driven. Women of my age will understand that, I'm sure. But even when I am like super, super tired and I could actually fall asleep, I can't, because my legs are pins and needles, and it's like electric bolts running, from my hips down to my toes, both legs. So even when I'm ready for bed and I'm tired and I can go to sleep, I can't go to sleep. Dealing with it until my body becomes so overly exhausted that I no longer have control over when I fall asleep or how long I'm going to be asleep. Like when I reach that point, it doesn't matter how many alarms I set, because I either sleep through them or I turn them off in my sleep. I wake up enough to turn them off, but not awake and enough to even know that I'm awake. And then I wake up 6, 7, 10, 12 hours later. I'm like, whoa. What happened to my alarms? I'm like, oh man. But then, unfortunately, it just starts the whole cycle all over again. When I do finally crash and burn and get a ton of sleep, it just starts the whole cycle all over again. And then I'm back to not sleeping, and then I don't sleep and 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 don't sleep until I crash and burn. And then it starts over again. But that has been my cycle of insomnia since I was in high school. It just seems to be on steroids now that hormonal imbalance is in play as well. It used to be that I would stay up. Either I would only sleep for, an hour, maybe two, and then I'd be awake for 24, 36 hours, sleep for a couple hours, or I would stay awake, days at a time, and then fall asleep, and I'd sleep for an entire day, and then I'd be, awake for days, fall asleep for a day, wake for days, or, like I said, or I'd go a week at a time where I'm only sleeping an hour or two at a night, and then I would just crash, have a really good long full day sleep, and then it would start all over again. But I'm hesitant to say I'm not rebounding as quickly, because I don't necessarily consider it a rebound, because I'm not recuperating in any way, shape, or form. So now it's reversed, and I'm spending 3-4 days not being able to wake up. But I'm not getting recuperative sleep, because even when I'm sleeping, I'm restless. I do have a sleep tracker, and it's not even showing, it's showing that I'm barely even getting into REM when I do sleep. So I'm not getting recuperative sleep, which is probably why I don't have control over when I fall asleep. If I'm up and moving around, I'm awake. But as soon as I sit down, it doesn't matter what I sit in. I can sit on a bar stool and I'd fall asleep. As soon as I stop moving, I pass out. And then, I might be awake for a full day, maybe. And then it resets that cycle, and then I'm back to, I'll sleep for 3 hours, I'm awake for a half hour, I'll fall back to sleep, and I'll sleep for a couple more hours, then I'm awake for an hour, and fall back to sleep for 4 more hours. And it's just a full-on circular state of complete exhaustion. it was like, yeah, you wake up in the morning, you wonder, is it going to snow today? I'm like, don't you dare say that curse word. But he's not completely wrong, because, yeah, I mean, our weather is, like, seriously messed up right now. It doesn't know what it wants to do. It's going to be hot, it's going to be cold, it's going to rain, is it going to snow, is it going to wind, are we going to have hail? Yeah. Is it going to do it all at once? Alright, we are back home. Thanks for coming along with me. And as always, we will talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.